If we could, everyone, let's call the meeting order. Join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, welcome. April 11th, 2016 meeting. Get this off. If we can, I would like to start out with the approval of the agenda, but I believe the gentleman that I'm looking for is not here, but he might be. What I would like to do under old business is I would like to insert there the Eagle Road sewer extension idea.
And number 9.
That would be under unfinished business, number 9.
Mr. President, if I may, we also add a bill like one green to the agenda.
Under advisement of our attorney.
Where there was a nice little article written up under green.
And actually, that article that was written up probably gets everybody up to speed, so rather than to jeopardize anything legally, we're not going to go into that.
Can we turn the furnace down a little bit? It's going to make for some crappy audio.
It says it's off. Yeah, it'll take just a second. If you can, I'll try to speak loud. If you can't hear me, please indicate so. With that said, I'm looking for a motion for the approval of the agenda with the addition of the Eagle Road sewer extension idea.
Make a motion for you to approve the.
Use your mic, please. We can't hear you.
I make a motion to approve April 11, 2016 agenda.
So moved. Support and support. Roll call, please.
Horton.
Yes.
Lori.
Yes.
Dick.
No.
Walter.
Yes. And also, I guess before I get into this, we should also make note that Mrs. McCafferty is not here. Excuse me, I got it. With that, I would like to also have the approval of the minutes from our February 4th special meeting. We tabled that last month because the actual motion was not entered into the minutes, and it is now. Any discussion? Are we okay with the way it is in there?
Mr. President, just have one thing real quick. I think the motion is stated, this is what you had read, but just for point of clarification, where it says Nealon versus Village of Goodrich, I think there's other plaintiffs, if you will. against the village.
It should have been in your box, a copy of what I gave to the clerk to copy for that motion. And that is what I read. It was a copy of what you should have received in your mailbox, which I assume you did get.
Yep.
And I think if you look at the two of them, you'll find that they are similar.
Oh my gosh.
It says it's off. All right, so here we are with our special meeting minutes. Do we have a motion to approve?
Make a motion that we approve the minutes for 2/4/2016.
Looking for support? Support. Roll call, please.
Horton.
Yes.
Lori.
Yes.
Dick.
Yeah.
Walter.
Yes.
I think that was that bad.
All right, moving along to the treasurer's report, which is the purple sheet. Have any discussion?
Got closed. Closed session.
Closed session minutes. That bad attorney on each year.
No.
There's the closed session minutes,
That we just did?
No, we did the special.
special. Seems louder than listening.
Motion to approve closed session minutes.
Support.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner White.
Yes.
Dick.
Yes.
Baldwin.
Yes. Now we can do the treasurer's report, which is the purple sheet. Discussion.
Make a motion where we approve the treasurer's report for April 11th, 2016.
Is there a break?
It says it's off. Whatever it takes. Even the hammer. We do not have a motion. We have discussion. on the purple sheet? There's no discussion about looking for a motion.
I made a motion. Need support.
Now we'll do a roll call.
Marty.
Yes.
Cory.
Yes.
Dick.
No.
Baldwin.
Yes.
Did we do the break?
Yes. It's not easy, is it? Did you hear us at all?
No, you
I'm
need
gonna wait
to
just a
wait.
minute. I'm gonna wait just a
We
minute.
can't hear you.
Frustrating.
Screaming. Now we can hear you guys.
You can hear each other. It's terrible.
Welcome to tonight's meeting. All right, now we're under the bills and transfers, which is the green sheet.
Question, Mr. President. Under salt spreader and blades, I see a wine gardens of $8,180.71. Is that the new salt spreader that you purchased?
Yes.
So in our February meeting, we made a motion to accept a proposal from Wine Gardens to purchase a one-ton salt spreader at a price not to exceed $7,546.50. And we went over that by $600. My question is, why wasn't that represented to the council for approval?
I'm gonna say that 381 was that the latest one? It hadn't been, because that would have been last year.
I believe there was other stuff purchased.
I can pull the invoice for you. Okay.
Would appreciate it.
There might have been something.
And it was all on one check. It was stuff less than $500.
And my other question I have on here for the LCL planning fee from Incorporated for a planner of $907. Are we having another study, something done? I believe that's the company we use for our the Parks and Rec master plan, any kind of stuff that's being done. I mean, is there something that should have been discussed before we spent $900 and some?
That would all, we also had a ZBA meeting, and they would have been involved in that too. I'm assuming that probably paid them up to date for services rendered.
Which one is that? I'm sorry.
LCL planning?
what happens on that one is, if we have, somebody comes in and has planning, they have to use our planner and they have to pay, so that bill will be spread out. But it will show it, so
Okay.
we'll pull it and put it in your box.
Fair enough.
I can't remember right offhand.
And then I think my last one, if I can find it. Oh, mileage and training reimbursement for our administrator. Do you know what training was being done, or where she may have went to?
I'll pull it. I couldn't tell you right offhand.
The reason why I'm asking is because I went through this before, and anything that was over $500 had to get approval from the council, and I'm seeing a few things on here that are over $500.
Yeah, no, I'll put them on the box.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Looking for a motion.
Make the motion, we approve bills and transfers from 3/01/2016 to 3/31/2016.
I'll support that. Roll call, please.
Horton,
Yes.
Maury,
Yes.
Dick,
No.
Baldwin.
Yes. First round of public comment. First round of public comment pertains to agenda items only, please. Address the chair.
Henry Rotel, Shooting Drive. February, I brought up a couple safety issues, and I noticed in the minutes last month, nothing was mentioned in the minutes. Now I have the minutes of last month, and under public comment, it says 2 members of the public chose to comment, and that's all it says. So I guess what I'm getting at is, if you're not taking minutes, why take any minutes at all, or if you're selective to what you put in the minutes? Another thing I wanted to bring up is mosquito control. I know there was an article in the Citizen, and even President Obama's health staff has put out an issue on the Zika virus. I would hope you would see it serious enough to have a discussion on this. I think it's important to the residents that live in this municipality to maybe have it on the agenda for next month and have the council discuss the mosquito control.
Patricia Wortella, Shooting Drive, and actually, this probably will go under administrative. It will go under all departments, Mr. Baldwin, but I'm just gonna make a statement. And I myself too have witnessed that the minutes that have been given out to the public of what's happened in the meetings are not being put into the minutes for the public to see. Thank goodness we do have a video, we have other people taking videos for the documentation purposes. But I do want to bring something up to you, and I'm sure everybody in the audience, your entire council, administration, DPW, all the people that are involved in the village of Goodrich, if they're appointed, if they're elected, if they're employees, realize now, because of the city of Flint, what's happened there with the water situation and the responsibility of our elected officials to the public. It's not only with elected officials, it's with your appointed people, on your, like planning commission, your zoning boards. Everybody has to be held accountable. It goes as far as the head, or Governor Snyder, and you know as well as I do where that situation is. So where I'm leading this whole conversation is to make sure that this council understands the responsibility you owe to this community. I personally know that when I sat up there, I took it very seriously, and if people had concerns, or they brought it to me, or they brought it to the council, or whoever it was important enough to investigate and get back to the people. Now, when you say, I will look into it, and you get back to the people, I believe that at the time that you say it, that you believe you're gonna do it, but you don't. And I remember you saying, you take care of those who take care of you. You owe it to the community, Mr. Baldwin, and I've said it to you many times. You're elected, and you're gonna be held accountable. Governmental immunity does not hold in the state of Michigan anymore. People do not trust government. And I'm just bringing this up to all of you. When we bring up concerns to you regarding all these issues, should it be tonight, should it have been last month, was it the month before, or whatever? Or was it 1996 with the Wheelock-Watkins drain? I'm just saying to you that you are responsible. Now, would it include the appointed people that are appointed to your planning commission, your zoning boards? Absolutely. Does it include the employees? Absolutely. So I believe that the state of Michigan is setting precedents with everything that is happening, and now it's at a federal level. And they are holding them accountable. And this is gonna happen. So all I'm saying to you is you need to be diligent. When people bring concerns to you, do your work. Do your work. It includes the whole community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I got two things real quick. I was just wondering.
Name, address.
Name. Why we're giving Flint, Holland so many chances to fix a salt spreader, and we still don't have it back yet, and we could have used their truck today. I mean, I don't know why just giving them so many chances. And the other issue, the salt spreader / blades, the price you're talking about, we got cutting edge for the snowplow. I assume that's how come it's added on to the price of the salt spreader here. I'm guessing that's where you got the number from, so, thank you.
My name's Don Peterman. I live on Clarence Street. I've been there since about 1955. I'd like to make some comments, and they're simple. It doesn't take much to look and see what's happening. Number one, I watch and plow the street. Very seldom, this is in the wintertime, do they have the blade on the road. They salt it, they come back, they scrape it off. A few years back, there was about 5 streets in the village that was to get priority, I assume for the safety of the school buses that run the streets in the intermediate part of the village. We are lucky to get that street, even see a truck, by 8 o'clock in the morning. By then, a good share of the buses are already being returned after going to taking students to the school, dropping them off, they're coming back. By 8 o'clock, that street should be cleaned before they even leave for safety. Now, I can't remember, my memory's a little bad. But our street was paved. It has been crack sealed one time since then. And I'm just gonna throw a figure, 5-6 years. It's been crack sealed one time, it's honeycombing right now. And it seems to be a continual problem that when we do any repairs, we do it in 200 and 300-foot sections. We're cycling now to where every year one of these sections is going to be replaced or redone. To me, it's a very, very poor cycle of how we use our money and our equipment. Another thing, I don't know how many streets we have in Goodrich, but I feel we have 3 times the equipment we had and nobody to run them when I first moved there. But we don't do anything on M15, we don't do anything on Eagle Road. We threw them to the curb a few years back. All I would like to see is with the winter we had, which was minimal, the amount of equipment we have, there's not a balance of hours put in. And what are they doing all winter? You hardly see a truck. Right now, you hardly see a truck or a piece of equipment. Now, these are my views from where I live in the intermediate district right in town. There's something wrong. We're spending our money in the wrong place. We've got less employees and we're getting, well, basically, I don't know. I can't figure it out. Thank you.
Anyone else?
I just have a question. My name's Sally Sophia, and I'm on Clarence Street with my parents. I'm not really quite sure I understand this, so I'm gonna be careful as far as how to phrase it. During the discussion on the budget, there was a point made that there was agreement that if anything was over $500, that the council would approve of it. Now, I'm assuming this collaboration was put into place, so there would be a well-informed, collective decision on things. And if that's not happening, then I'm not sure how to feel about that. I mean, I don't know if it's happening on a regular basis or what, but it seems like that might be a good thing to take responsibility for. That's all I have to say.
Anyone else? The unfinished business, the Genesee County Sheriff's Department report. Any questions? Number 2 would be the street administrator.
I was gone most of the month, so I know you had a lot of snow. But I did see on the news tonight, they said we had a mild winter, but yet we ended up with 68 inches of snow. I ain't figured that one out yet, but that's, no, that's in Flint. It's Flint. Those quick snows and rains, they put us down for 68 inches. That's actually 18 inches more than they got in Saginaw and Bay City. So, other than that, I was gone most of the month, so I know you guys got rain. I had sunshine. I came back just a week too early, that's all I know.
Welcome home.
Yeah. It's your fault too, you're supposed to have my yard clean.
9/11 and waste and water, there's really not an awful lot to say there. The parks and recs, the electrician has finished up, it has been inspected and it's gone forward to consumers. And hopefully everybody understands that we want that pole taken down, flagpole meter, I guess it's been called. We want that taken down and we want to go underground from there, not from the other pole location. Trying to deal with consumers hasn't been easy, but now we get a meter number and hopefully it'll work out a little easier. The code enforcement, I've talked to him, he is home, he has been doing some things. There are some buildings that he is looking into. the barn over on Dutch Road, I'm probably gonna look into putting that on the agenda for next month and try to move forward with legal action on that. I understand that the permit has not been handed out yet for the demolition of the house on the corner of Huron and M15, Eagle and M15, excuse me. And the sinkholes over on Schuman and Eagle Road. Our code enforcer has lots of pictures. He's walked the entire property. It's extremely wet. It's hard to get clay to come out of the dump trucks right now. As soon as it dries up so dirt can be delivered. The next question is it's going to be interesting how they finagle down in there to fill some of those holes that are down over the side. And that one picture looks like that hole is it's man-sized. It's a pretty nasty hole. But Mr. Lusick is well aware of the potential danger, and he too does not want to see it go unattended.
We did measure it, it's 8 feet deep.
It's 8 foot deep?
Yes.
It's 8 foot deep. The administrative budget report information, it's in our packet here. It was rather vague to start with, but there's some things for us to start working with. I would imagine that our administrator will be contacting everyone to find out when is a good time to meet. I hope at that point that anyone that has any information that they would like to receive from the office, that they ask before we go into our first meeting. It'd be a lot easier and a lot simpler and more informative if we had some information. So if there's anything that you would like, any information, please, let's not wait till the meeting. Let's try to do our research before the meeting. And like I say, our administrator will be calling to find out when are good times for everybody. And I would imagine that will probably start next week sometime.
Mr. President, if I may, just for your information on the rest of the council, I will be submitting an email to yourself and Jackie to be sure that we follow Chapter 8 of our village charter for general finances. Also reference state law references that we must follow by. I think I mentioned that at our last budget meetings that we had, that some information was missing. So again, you'll be seeing an email coming from me on that request.
It'll make our meeting a little more efficient. The memo that you have here, I assume everybody's looked at it, kind of just a start. Very vague, just.
You're not looking for discussion on this right now, are you?
There's no reason really to. I mean, if you want to bring up something, I don't have any problem with that.
I just have a lot of no's. I didn't know if you want to have a discussion.
You'll have your opportunity.
Fair enough.
All right. The sidewalks.
You looking at me? I walked a few of them today. I found a couple pieces that we may have to replace. The weather gets nice enough to take them out and replace them. There's one, I think, on Erie Street, and I believe there was a couple down on Seneca. We need to get in there and get that on Seneca clean when it dries up a little bit. Somebody did a lot of plowing in there in between Saginaw and Eagle. They put about a half a yard to a yard of gravel on it. But we will get it cleaned up as soon as it dries a little bit. It's just mud and water in there right now. That's only, I haven't walked the whole village yet, I just got back, so.
Code of conduct, attorney, excuse me, number 6. There really is nothing to report there. As far as any litigation, I think the newspaper was pretty much on target. Explained just about everything in there as well as it can be explained. Number 7, the code of conduct for elected officials. I know that our administrator is working on that. And hopefully next month we'll have maybe a rough draft that we can maybe start looking at more seriously. Number 8 is the personnel policy, which is really about the same thing, and I know that she is working on that. And once again, optimistic that we'll be moving forward with something there. Number 9 is the Eagle Road sewer extension idea. And the gentleman that was supposed to be here and talk about that is not here. So I guess what I could say is that there's been kind of an idea of extending the sewer from the top of Eagle Road to the west outside to the outer edge of the village limits. It would let people that are down through there all tie into it. There's an awful lot that would have to be done with this. I keep calling it an idea, and that's what it is. It's not a proposal. We would have to look into it. We'd have to consult our attorney. We'd have to consult with Wade Trim. Asked a lot of questions. That's pretty much it for the number 9. Under new business, we have the resolution 2016-04 council meeting schedule. Questions?
I have one, Mr. President, if I may. I see that we've changed the time to 6 p.m. I know that was some general discussion that we had at our last meeting. However, I was under the impression that was just what we kind of felt that we could do. But I thought that this probably should maybe do a quick public hearing, because we are here to actually represent our residents, and what time is good for them to be able to come in here and hear us speak. I think it's appropriate to give them a chance to see if they want to back down an hour or cut to 7 o'clock before you pass this resolution.
Are you proposing that we table this and put a feeler out there to see what the public wants?
Yes, sir.
Gentlemen?
Well, another one on here is November 14th. There's a lot of guys that are gonna wanna go there on that day before deer season. You're gonna be swearing in probably some new people because it's election month. And you might wanna try to come up with a different date.
Push that a week ahead.
Well, that means it's election day, and
But we want to be after the election, I think.
you gotta be after the election.
No, it's just kind of a hot season.
Gotta get your
Well,
priorities right.
And if you do it a week behind, you're gonna be into Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
It's catch-22. I would say, we relook at this and come up with a date before the 14th. I'm not, so if somebody writes me in a whole lot of times, I ain't gonna be here, ain't gonna worry about it, but, I'm retired.
We put 6 because that was a discussion.
Right, no.
But we're doing it early, so
Yep.
you have time. Normally, we don't have to do this for a couple of meetings yet. This was so that you would have time to actually take a look at it. You don't have to do it tonight, you have time to,
Yeah, we could.
you got wiggle room here, so.
Well, then how about for the agenda, our next meeting,
Next
we just
meeting.
have a quick public hearing, let people give their opinions and go from there. And at least gives them a chance to have their say in the times that they want to come here and listen to us ramble through this.
Let's just table it, easy way of doing it.
Yep.
Number 2 would be the mill pond permit. And if you can read this, you're doing better than I am. I think someplace on the top they have the numbers for what it would cost for the spraying of the pond, if necessary, and I'm sure it will be necessary. I don't know about the second application. But the $400 lets us get the permit.
So from my understanding, we're gonna pay $400 just for the permit, and then if needed, the first one's gonna be $3,900.
That is correct. And the second one, and if you can pick up that little scratching on there, if needed. And I don't remember in the past, we haven't always done the second one, because of how high it is. Water depth.
We really didn't do it last year.
We didn't spray last year because we had the pond down the year before. It pretty much killed the weeds, so they didn't come back too bad. The permit, you must get, because if you let it go a year, it could be a little difficult to get it back.
Well, let me ask you this, if there's a pattern of us letting the pond down and then bringing it back up, 'cause I think that was a statement that we heard here before, as long as we get it down to a certain level and bring it up, the weeds don't come in. Is there a way that we can control that ourselves without having to go through this financial burden?
We might have to go through the DEQ to do it. It's only, we only can really legally take it down for emergencies. And they were doing a repair on a dam. If we get a big log or something in there, there's one there somewhere, but it hasn't showed yet, but, it's the biggest one I've seen in there, but I haven't been able to find it. I saw it one day and I know it ain't gone through. I'm not sure it's gone under the bridge yet. But usually when you take it, I don't think the DEQ or the DNR will let you take it down, set it there for 2 weeks unless you're doing some repairs. And,
Probably not for weed control.
no. And normally, since I've sat here, we've only sprayed one time a year, so it's done pretty good because you can't get in the shallows in the south end to spray anyway. It's not deep enough. It's got to be over 3 feet of water before you can kill the weeds. And there's not 3 feet down there. About 2 feet of water, 6 foot muck.
So this is gonna be an educational question for myself. Since there's residents that live on the mill pond, do they contribute to any of this treatment? Or does the village have full responsibility of the mill pond?
The water belongs to the village. Well, we control the height, so I mean, it's up to us to control it.
Should be up to the resident that was there.
All my questions.
So you understand the $400 and I guess what we're doing is making a motion.
I'll make a motion that we pay the $400 to get our permit to spray the mill pond if needed. We have to have the permit, and he has to get it.
Just put on there. His motion. Second. Okay, good. So, roll call, please.
Horton,
Yes.
Maureen,
Yes.
Dick,
No.
Baldwin.
Yes. The Village of Goodrich, Resolution 2016-05. And this is, the council wishes to participate in a small urban project, whereas the village approves the local match for the following project. And that is the West Eagle Road from Seneca to the Kersley Creek Bridge. Our contribution will be $24,000.
Question again, Mr. President, please.
Yes.
I believe back in November, I think it was called the Spicer Group. I had it here now, I can't find it yet. Here it is. We applied, paid $3,800 for an improvement program for TIP application for, to get the road done, possibly on Hill Road coming back down, I think almost to Seneca. Do we know if we got approval for that? We just had to pay a crap load of money just to get our name on the list to see if our roads qualified, if you would. So I'm kind of asking where they're.
As far as I know, we have not been awarded that money.
Okay, and then my second question is, did we not just mill portions of this area where they're gonna be working and put blacktop in and new lines on the road?
We did the parking areas, this will be just the road.
Is that gonna affect where we did, what we already worked on?
Probably not. They can match it.
So I'm seeing Goodrich and Ortonville both on here, so they both, is Ortonville contributing to our roads as well? Is that how I'm understanding this, or we're just putting $24,000 into our small urban project itself and The money's going to that little stretch of road there.
That's that little stretch of road. I think the entire project was $120,000, yes. So basically it'd be 96,000 is what they'd be calling it. 20% is for the engineering, blah, 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 but the actual cost is 120.
Is that going to affect, since I know nothing on this drain project, other than what I can read in the papers, are drains gonna be coming down through there anywhere to where they're gonna be repairing the roads and turning right back up?
So,
It's supposed to go under the pipe that we put in when we did Eagle Road up to the full fire hall. There's a 32-inch pipe under there waiting for that project. When that Eagle Road was done, we were able to get the money to put that pipe in. And the drain commission suggested a 32-inch pipe, so there's a brand new pipe under that road. So Eagle Road that will not have to be cut. Cutting a road only leads to problems. You can never put it back the way it was.
So I hate to speak of the drain project, but I was understanding that 32-inch had the wrong slope or wasn't down deep enough and more work had to be done, but you're telling me now that we are using that 32-inch?
The last I heard, but I haven't heard anything in a while.
So on this next sheet on here for the NDOT small urban project application, it says if we had more time to prepare, we could reconstruct this section. What is that stating? It seems to be this is another last minute, we have to have a decision today on.
we just have to beat the deadline in order to get the money in to apply for the grant.
But what is it? Maybe you probably can answer this, but I don't know. Can you see what I'm looking at?
At the bottom, it's probably-
Yeah, so what, do you know what we're referring to on that? If we had more time, we could because I hate just to put money out if there's, an advantage that we could take to improve the roads better with the same.
I don't know what she's saying when, her verbiage here, when she says that we could reconstruct this section. I don't know what she's getting at there. No, I don't know.
Is this something you're recommending, Mr. President?
Yeah, I think that we should try to get the money if it's at all possible.
Is this part of the revenue that she's saying that's gonna be coming in? And back to her memo?
It's part of the money she would like to, use it for, is for putting it back into the roads, yeah.
Because she has it under revenue, but this is gonna be an expense.
If we go along with it, yes, it would be an expense.
Just trying to keep up with stuff supposed to go. Then I guess my last question is, do we have the budget for it? Because a project of this size wasn't budgeted.
Well, it would, we have to redo that when we do our amendment, and then you're out, and she seems very confident that we have the money to go ahead with it.
No further questions?
Mr. Moran,
I'm fine with it.
I'm looking for someone to make a motion to go forward.
I make a motion that we accept resolution 2016-05.
I'll support.
Horton,
Yes.
Murray,
Yes.
Dick,
Yes.
Baldwin.
Yes. The next one is the appointment of the Title VI non-discrimination plan here. And I don't know if you guys have looked at all of this. This is something that MDOT has initiated. And what we need is, to appoint someone to act as our coordinator This is something that we don't have to move on right now. Just something that we need to discuss. And I say we don't have to move on it because the person that I would like to see take the position isn't here. And we normally only do that to Mr. Lord.
Yeah, I would think about that for about half a second.
But she's familiar with all of this, I'm sure with her job, she would be more up to speed with the
She,
discrimination.
Who
Mrs.
is that?
McCafferty. Mrs.
Oh.
McCafferty.
And if I could ask, because I was trying to do a little research on this, and from what I could tell, the coordinators were mainly either your administrators or your mayors, if you will. It wasn't really anybody that was just serving on the council.
From what I understand, it can be anybody, it doesn't matter.
Is this something that we have, because I see that Jackie's name's on here, so we already have this adopted?
No, this is something new from MDOT. What we have would be nothing like this, not nearly as extensive, but this is for MDOT. And if we're going to receive any more funding, Act 51 money, we have to have this in place. So if you're using government money, you can't discriminate against anybody. That's what this is really all about.
You did see there's a spot on here for your signature, sir.
Yes, I did.
I'm assuming you're looking to table this issue until Mr. McCarthy can be here?
I think she'd be a perfect person for it, to be honest with you.
Make a motion that Mr. McCarthy takes his position, is that what you're asking?
Dirty pool.
I think we can wait till she gets there.
Let's just table it.
Okay, I had it written down here.
There was no motion. Motion's been withdrawn.
Table that one.
You have to sit next to her, so.
Well, I don't know, my name tag keeps getting moved out, so I might be out there next question. You never know.
It pretty much concludes the business that we have in hand. This is opened up for public comment now, and you're free to discuss anything that you want.
Teresa Ellen, when you brought up the sewer extension for the apartments, who was supposed to be here to speak on that?
The man that was here earlier, he was the engineer that
guy?
was here. Yes.
That you know that he was just arrested and charged with embezzlement and live article? Just wanted to look
Seriously?
at him. Seriously?
No, I did
You
not.
want to see his mugshot?
Well, understand why he's not here tonight.
But explain it.
And he, I will say, because this is extremely out of order, but he just represents the company. That's all he is.
No, just be careful.
Sounds like it.
Yeah,
all we play around here.
sounds like you did a good job.
He did do a good job.
Yes.
I know you are.
You got caught.
We all have to have a retirement plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cheating.
Mark, I'll make a few comments to Doug McAfee. I attend the Metropolitan Alliance meeting for the village, and I brought some brochures about roundabouts, and we need to distribute these. The closest roundabout so far is Belsey and Hill Road. That was going to be going in the fall. There's a couple roundabouts on the west side of the county, and there's going to be a controversial one at Bristol Road and the expressway right by the auto plant. You're going to be hearing about that one in the news. It may not fly. I did bring some brochures, and if there's any left, you can take them up to the office and put them in. They're supposed to be a lifesaver, and the accidents are supposed to be side swipes as opposed to T-bones and head-ons. That's the advantage. And they're easier to maintain, and they save about $5,000 a year per. Go try one, see what you think. I would hold my comments on that. The picture that's on the front is Gettings Road at US 23. I was down there Saturday, almost got hit.
Yeah.
Almost got hit, right there.
I think you're dangerous person. You got cars coming in all directions.
It's a long conversation. Okay. My other comment is about approving items from the check register. I know it was questioned, there was a 769 bill, and it was talking about the salt spreader. I think the proper thing to do, if there's any question, is to delete those items and bring them back next month rather than okay. Once you okay it, it's done. You know, you can bring in information back and say, this is what it's for, that's what it's for, but once you okay it, it's law. It's really hard to do. And my last comment, quickly, is Mr. Peden was up here talking about snow removal. I think it's a good idea every year for this body to set goals and you know, decide what you're going to do in different situations. And I think that one goal I'd like to see is done by 7, not starting at 7. It's, you know. Other than that, thank you.
Thanks, Doug.
Patricia Bortella and Mr. Baldwin, I am going to comment on, you're going to start scheduling budget meetings for you to work on the budget. Is that correct? And you asked if there's any comments, anybody has any input, anybody has anything to give to you or to submit to you. You had a group of, you had a committee that you put together regarding health care. And you never used that information, you didn't even consider it. And I'm urging you to take that material, it's not that old. It isn't archaic, it's not a year ago, it has just been within months, that you need to review that and look at it. And you also need to look at how you can help the taxpayers, especially in the situation we're in now. You need to do that. And that's up to you as a council. You need to do your homework too. The second thing I want to bring up is under new business, you discussed the resolution regarding the council meeting schedule. And I agree that we need to have a public comment section on this next meeting for the public to voice their opinion. This meeting is held because you need to be available for the public to attend. It's for the public. Once again, I urge you, you work for us. The third thing that I'm going to discuss is about the mill pond permit. And I'm going to also bring this up to you because I'm sure this is not something that is old news. People that live on that mill pond need to be the contributors to that permit or have them form an association. Have them form their own association, have them pay for their own permit and pull it. It isn't up to the entire community to front that and pay for their spraying. There is a case out there, Bolt versus Lansing, need to look it up. And what that is, it's a case that has set precedents in the state of Michigan regarding the entire community being responsible for the payment of usage of whatever it may be. If it's sewers, if it's a mill pond, if it's something that does not give full usage to a community, it should not be up to that community to pay for that. So the people who live on that mill pond should be the responsible party. So you need to look at that. That should not be up on our backs. We should not be responsible for that. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Richard Ciroli. This has been kicked around again and again. I never used the Dutch Road Bridge. I would think the people that use that bridge should be the ones that continue to pay. Why does my tax money go to a bridge that I never use?
Because it's a road.
It's a public road.
You already spoke, that's fine.
I'm gonna speak one
No,
more
you're
time.
not gonna speak. You had
That
your
Dutch Road
opportunity.
Bridge
You
is
had
a
your
public
opportunity, that's
road.
good. Thank you. We all know it's a public road. Thank you
Okay.
very much. Thank
All right, thank you.
you. Anyone else? Good. Council, any responses from council?
A couple things if I could. We keep kicking around some road projects and whatnot. I think we discussed this before, I don't know, posting the DPW office or the village or, you know, so we should have a list of priority for roads. It just seems like anytime a project gets picked, I don't know who's picking the project or how that road's getting determined to get fixed or whatnot. I would like to see some kind of a system set up, whether it's the residents saying, hey, we've got issues here, and we take priority on, you know, what they're calling in, but there should be some kind of a, you know, worst to best, so if you will, roads that need to get repaired. Second thing I got is I did ask, a follow-up of the investigation that you were gonna do for, our last pending lawsuit that we had, where we settled, if you would. I didn't know if that investigation has been concluded or not. Also, I asked you to look into why I'm the only one that has to sign for information, when I go in to fix stuff up. I'm sure you've seen this, but there's the email that I received from our administrator on that. Still waiting on a response for that.
Go ahead and see.
Well, they got CC'd to your email. And then my last thing, speaking of the lawsuit that we settled, I did receive some information I spoke on at the last meeting. However, the second set of information, if you will, was not in there. I believe you stated that you were gonna be getting that information to us.
You were talking the hours for the DPW, is that what you said?
No, I got the hours for the lawsuit, because we got sued for a information request.
There's additional information.
Right, then I'm waiting on that additional
You
information.
didn't go up there and ask for it, no.
Which is the last council meeting, you said, yes, you are correct, that you did not receive the second set, you just handed out certain portions of it.
I'm sorry if I misled you, but I
Okay,
thought I made it to where there's additional information if you wanted it.
okay,
Interesting.
I'll get with Jack and or who's ever gonna be in the
Or call
office.
me, I'll get away the way you want to do it.
Okay. That's all I have.
Anybody else?
I do agree that we need to look in on this mosquito spraying. We can get a hold of Grand Blanc Township, they spray the whole township. How they do it, I do not know. I don't know if it's a flyover. I've wanted to see the village spray for years, because we have a big pond. We have a lot of areas, keep the grasses down. I did not catch all the states, but they announced that this virus will be in 30 states minimum this year. They've already found it in the mosquito in the United States. So, it's something to look into. I know when you see them on TV, it looks like they're spraying every day. I don't think we can do that, but we've got to find out what they're using and if it works.
It's bad. It is bad. It's affecting nervous systems, children unborn, you know, the pregnant women. It's all over. It's
It's something we definitely, I think, need to look into.
Just for the record, I'd be opposed to that.
Pardon me?
Just for the record, I would be opposed to that.
I agree, but you got pellets, right? You can get those like Ortonville dispose.
You can put the pellets in the drain, but, there's still gonna be mosquitoes in your yard when it
You could try
rains,
that.
the grass. But, I don't know how, but I've read where Grand Blanc Township sprays the township. They've done
They
it
do
for a
it.
number of years.
They do it by a truck. It comes through the subdivisions and they blare a loud siren. You have to go inside, shut your windows, and they come in at night and they smoke up the whole neighborhood.
I believe you're notified on the days in which they're coming
Yeah.
into certain areas, and I do believe they contract that. I don't think they do that themselves.
Pete,
No, they don't. They
You're
do
right.
contract it.
and she's right too, but I think if you look into the situation with Brandon, they do, and they give pellets or those, whatever they call them, to the taxpayers for standing water.
And if they would do it, it would be a good idea.
David would know.
I think we need to look into a variety of things and have somebody
David, what do you
talk
got to say?
Well, they, both Groveland and Brandon passed, get money from Oakland County to do that. And because of the Zika, you guys are right,
Yes.
because of the Zika virus, they've doubled it. And they do it based on population. You go into township halls and they're called dunks.
Yeah.
And you whip them out, throw them out in your pond, and they're very effective. Plus, that spray, DEET, like you spray yourself on.
Yeah.
But they doubled the amount this year because it's so bad.
This is the county that's helping to.
Oakland County has a grant for them, and they go to you go to DeWitt Center, and you can get it, you can buy it locally. They went to Thompson's or wherever,
Yeah.
the hardware stores and get it. But it's quite effective, and I didn't put anything for Groveland in there this year because they know it's there. If they blow through that,
Right.
people do, and it's free to the taxpayer, or free to the residents. And just so you know, you're talking about Grand Blanc Township, I live in Mundy Township.
Teresa's, yeah.
I live in Mundy Township, and we're gonna spray this year for the first time. I got a
I
little,
bet a lot of municipalities will do.
yeah, I got a little thing when I had my taxes, and you have to, they tell you, you have like a waiver or something you sign, but I'll give you a copy of what they gave me. And they come through and they spray it, and the township covers it.
But this,
Well-
off the, we're not,
What-
I just want this council to actively get involved in it, like with Brandon and Ortonville, wherever their government offices, the taxpayer can go in there and they can get, whatever amount that they need. And then, like he said, you just toss it out.
The other-
Like Mr. Peterman's daughter, she's against it, I understand that, but the pellets would work.
The other thing they do, it's kind of interesting too, is if anybody has tires that don't have the rim in it, what are they called, like old tires? They set it up so they want you to get rid of those, they want you to dispose of them, because that's one of the biggest carriers
Yeah.
of those.
Warm.
Right, that black, and you get
Freezes very
water
well.
in there. But they had a time where they wanted them disposed of, and it seems like they talked about how to get rid of them, because that's one of the biggest carriers we have, is the tires, and people can, and it's surprising that they're probably correct where it comes from.
Would it be possible too to maybe consider like the DPW, like maybe pumping out standing water? To eliminate the standing water, like say, my backyard. But there's a lot of low areas that
would
hold
be
a
one
lot
of
of
the matters that
water.
I can think of that probably needs some attention. But I'll talk with Shirley at the township level, and
There
then
you
I'll
go.
have Jackie look in to see if there's anything we can look into as far as grants, see what the county is doing.
Yeah,
No, but we'll,
try it out.
We'll look into it, and that is a promise, write that one down. Other than that, the only other thing I have is the Schumann Drain. I've been in contact with Sue up there, and because of the wet conditions, they have been unable to get out there. I'm not gonna tell you that they're gonna be out there yet this week. There's a good possibility, but as soon as they can, if the weather dries up and it doesn't rain, they will get out there and start working on this. Maybe by the end of the week, but soon, that's the best I can tell you. Anything else, guys?
Motion adjourned.
Aye.
Support.
Aye, aye.